Hi, are you feeling lost in a sea of tech job ads and generic recruiter messages? Well, join me now to uncover the Maverick Approach to tech recruitment. We're going to learn how to navigate through the muddy waters and find the opportunities that truly value and recognize your experience. But first, I'm going to tell you a story that illustrates the problem perfectly. Hi, I'm James Foster, and this is the Careers Mastery Revolution. Over the last couple of weeks, I've gone through a series of these live interviews, these live recordings, and explained something about the active job market, why it doesn't work, and why it doesn't serve you. Well, this is another horror story that will illustrate it perfectly. A while ago, as a recruiter, I was working on a particular or for a particular company, and they asked me to look at a role that they had had open for, I think it was over 6 months, well over 6 months, and had yet to fill it. So they gave me the brief. They gave me the job ad, as it were. They gave me all the stuff that I'd normally get at the beginning of a job. I knew who the hiring manager was. I even had a chat with the hiring manager and found out what had gone wrong in terms of the types of candidates he was getting through, etc. But I didn't really appreciate the real reason for the fact they hadn't filled this role until I started the search. So the mechanism that I would have used at that particular time would be to identify candidates that I felt fitted the bill through either my database or my contact base, or maybe through LinkedIn and the LinkedIn recruiter search facility. And I identified a good number of people, and I put out some messages to these people. Um, Now, part of the discussion that we're going to have is about those messages. But let me tell you that when I put a message out, I don't just sort of send a generic message and go, "Do you want a job?" We really do look at what the job's about and the fit to the person, and we tell them why they should come and talk to us. So I did actually get a response to this, but the response was quite interesting. Probably I would say 60% of people that responded to me responded like this, saying, "I'd love to have a chat with you unless it's this job." And that was the job that I was working on. And I thought, okay, why is that then? So again, because I know a little bit about how to talk with people, I got them onto the end of a call, and found out a little bit more about what was going on. And it turns out that what had been happening over the previous 6 months is that there had been a plethora of recruiters, internal recruiters, external recruiters, that had been bombarding them with message after message after message. That several of them had had conversations that hadn't progressed. Despite the fact that they were a particularly good fit for the role, several of them had had, uh, shall we say, rejection from their profile, and several of them had just been totally ignored. And so it suddenly started to dawn on me what was going on here. And basically, the recruitment process that they had in place was was basically doing this. It was putting out poor messaging, generic messaging from people that really didn't understand what the hiring manager was looking for, and it was conveying badly the value that the candidates could have for this role. So as I say, these people had had several sets of recruiters come to them, all saying pretty much the same thing. And now they were getting me coming to them, and they were thinking I was going to be saying pretty much the same thing. So It took a little while for me to work out what was going on, and I spent a bit of time uh, actually looking at the whole job to make sure that we got it right. It wouldn't do for me just to go in and send in a few profiles and hope that they stuck. So I spent a bit of time making sure I really understood what the role was about and why it was being so difficult to fill. And it turned out that one of the reasons for that was because there was a couple of specific points that the hiring manager had wanted that really was not being conveyed by anybody. And so therefore the message about the ability of candidates to fulfill these points was not getting sent in either direction. So basically, a candidate was not being asked if he had the skills, the ability, the experience to do this, and that was not being conveyed back to the hiring manager. So the hiring manager is going, one of my key traits is for this. It's not there. I don't need this candidate, which you could quite understand. Um, and unfortunately for the candidates, they did often have the experience, but they weren't able to convey it because they weren't being asked for it. And so the solution was quite simple, except it wasn't, because now I've got to go and do a job of mending the situation, clearing the muddy waters. And that was that just come with being influential, explaining to these people what had happened, talking to them about exactly what the needs were, and then getting a good message across. And I think probably within about 5 weeks of taking on the role, I'd managed to put about 5 or 6 candidates up for this job. 4 of them were offered interviews. 2 of them, it wasn't that they weren't the right people; they just weren't strong enough across the whole board as the other 4. And of those 4, one of them got offered the job and took the job. So it was a successful assignment at the end, but it was never going to be filled using the mechanism by which the company had gone into this, which was to try and just use generic recruiters who do not really understand what the role is about and do not know how to uncover the full set of skills, experience, achievements of the candidates that they're working with. And so, therefore, the message is not properly conveyed across. And no amount of ATS system, no amount of artificial intelligence was going to fix that because the information wasn't there to be fixed. So I think the point of that story is to illustrate to you that the active hiring system that we have in place today is not there to serve you. It's there to serve the process. It's there to serve the recruitment process of the organization. It doesn't really serve the hiring manager, and it certainly doesn't serve the candidate. And so, if that's the case, how are you, as a potential candidate, how are you going to effectively control where you can go in your next job? How are you going to influence where your career will go? If you are at the whim of a process that's highly flawed and you're dealing with people that really don't know how it all hangs together and works, how have you got control of that? That, my friend, is the career mastery program, the career mastery revolution. We don't do it the old way. We don't do it the way that everybody else does it. We will help you to take control of your own career. We will show you how you can present yourself in such a way that it is abundantly clear what skills, experience, and specifically achievements you have that are going to bring value to the organization that you're interested to work with. You are going to be able to open up dialogue with potential hiring managers so that you smooth the way and will be in a position to get a job when there is an appropriate job for you. It's a matter of controlling your own process. It's a matter of going to the people that you're interested in. It's a matter of going and knocking on doors now and getting in front of people now and making sure that they know about you now, so that when it matters, things move much more fluidly. The career mastery revolution then is a proactive approach to your career. It's about planning where you're going, understanding why it is you want to get there, knowing exactly what your motivation is. And it's about putting together everything you need in place to make it happen when you want it to happen. Career Mastery Revolution. You want to know more? There's a link in this in the description of this video, which will get you the career mastery tech guide. No, sorry, I'll say that again. The tech career mastery guide, and join the CMR program. Once you've done that, well, you'll get a number of messages from me and we'll be in contact, and we can then take the next steps together. So this is James Foster, and we're at the Career Mastery Revolution. Thank you.